Okay, we'll give a minute for everyone to come in. We're going to talk about something that a lot of agents maybe aren't too interested in or have been traumatized by: open houses. I think about every agent who's been in the business more than a year or so has a horror story about open houses, or just a boring story. You sit there, you wait for someone to show up, twiddle your thumbs, you just want to sell the house. I did an open house for a listing I had just gotten, and I was pumped about the listing because it was a over $1 million listing. I got it really quick. It was like they were ready to list, got the listing, and I was in the house. They wanted an open house right away. That was the thing. They said, we want an open house, because our other agent did not do one. And so I went to the open house, I'm doing my thing, and I look on the bookshelf, and there's my book. I had mailed them in a past mailing, and they had already had my book. And when I got the listing, it happened so quick, I didn't give them a book, but they already had one. So that was kind of funny to see that they had actually saved my book, and it was on their bookshelf. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here, and we are going to run through a little presentation I put together of all the kind of best practices that I have heard of so far with open houses, hoping that you can take things away from this and apply them to your business and turn an open house into listings. That's the ultimate goal. You want to collect the leads, you want to get listings, and you want to make it a profitable experience. Now, Denise, can you see my slides? Can everyone see my slides?
I can see them.
Okay, so it's working. So we're going to talk about how to transform an open house into a listing generating machine. And now open houses can be old-fashioned. But here's the thing. Technology is changing, Facebook and all these things, and it's going to contribute to the effectiveness of an open house. So where an open house may have gone through some transformations on how we do them and how we can generate business from them, now is a prime time to have open houses. People are getting tired of the cookie cutter processes. When we can get face-to-face in front of an agent or in front of a prospect, and we can really show our character to them in our perfect environment in a house we're trying to sell. Even if we're not going to sell that house, this is like a prime time to seal the deal. So if you like face-to-face interaction, if you like to go out in one weekend, gather leads, gather buyer agreements, and gather listings, then I would say an open house is for you. Even if you're too busy to do an open house, you can hire an assistant to do one as well and get it all set up for you. Now let's talk about, and get this to work here, how to advertise your open house. Because the first thing, you gotta advertise it, and you really wanna get people to show up to recognize the home that you're presenting. This is the first step, and a lot of times I see agents fail at this. And because you have to think ahead, and as agents, sometimes we're caught up in the moment, we're just making hay while the sun's shining. We don't think ahead enough. But in an open house, it's critical. You have to advertise ahead of time.
Joe, somebody's asking, sorry to interrupt, someone is asking about the sound cutting in and out, and also whether this is being recorded. Yes, it is being recorded.
Yes, being recorded. And Denise, the sound's working. It might be your internet connection.
Okay.
Let it catch up. And we'll also send out a recording as well.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Advertising. You got to advertise open house, and you have to think ahead. You can't show up on a Saturday morning for a 2 o'clock open house and think, I'm going to start advertising it. So here's a couple things we're going to cover in the whole scheme of things, how to do a successful open house. Number one, how to advertise your open house. Critical. So important. Now, how to get prospects to show up. If they're just awed by an ad and they don't show up, yeah, it's not worth it. How to collect their information. If we filter people through an open house and we end up with no information, with no prospects, kind of a waste of time. How to close the deal. I've talked to many agents who have closed the deal at an open house. if you're ready, if you're prepared, there's opportunities there. Here's the thing. We have to be looking for the opportunities, and then we have to be prepared for the opportunities when they present themselves. And then how to get referrals. Sometimes we forget as agents, we think, I just want a listing, I just want a listing. I don't know if anyone's read that book, The Habits of Highly Successful People. It talks about having the end in mind. Not only do I want to have an open house, I want to get a listing, I want to maybe represent a buyer, I want to close the deal, and then I want to get referrals from that deal, because that's when an evergreen revolution starts and you just keep producing listings. But let's look at how you can advertise your open house. The internet, yes, we have the internet, and it's a great platform to start. A couple things you can do is Facebook is one. That's real important because you can reach your sphere, you can boost a post, you can enter in demographics for people who may want to buy the house. You can advertise to people in the general area of the home. Facebook has endless possibilities. Zillow, you probably want to put it on Zillow as an open house. So many home buyers are driving around with their phone and they're looking at Zillow. Hate it or love it, buyers are looking there. And they're scrolling through, hey, let's see if there's any open houses. And that's where they're going to find your open house potentially. Realtor.com is another one. Your website, put it out on your website. You should be able to enter these things on your website so people know that, hey, Mary Lou is having an open house on 123 Elm Street. Saw it on Zillow, saw it on Facebook. I clicked on it. I went to her website and I saw it on there as well. It must be a really good open house. And then email invites. You want to send out email invitations to your sphere, also to fellow agents. Now, if you want to really hone it down, if you found the agents who have sold a home similar to what you are having an open house for, especially if it's your listing, then you can reach out to them and say, hey, do you have any other buyers? It's about not just, go ahead.
Joe, what would you say is the optimal, how much time ahead of an open house would you say is ideal to start these types of advertisements?
Prepare them the week before, launch them a week before. That seems to be the magic number. Prepare them the week before, lay them out, be strategic, and then boom, you're hitting the launch button a week before the open house. Your Facebook ads are going to run up until the open house. Everything's going to be that week. So you're hitting your list maybe Monday with email. Then you're maybe going to thank the people who registered for your open house on Wednesday. You're going to send another email out on Friday reminding people about your open house. And then when you're at the open house, you're going to shoot a video and post it up on your page. Hey, I'm here. I'm ready. I'm waiting for you. So that's why I say plan it the week before, launch it, or plan it 2 weeks before, launch it a week before, and that's how you really set yourself up for a win. Now, let's talk about Facebook really quick, because that can be complicated. And a lot of agents say, Joe, I don't know about Facebook. I don't know about getting my face on there. It seems so complicated. It can be complicated, but I want to share a way that you can simplify this. Facebook, you can create an event. So create an event on Facebook. It's so easy. You'll see it right on there. Click the button, create the event, upload the description of the property, the time, the date, the address, a video. Maybe you have a video in front of the property. It hasn't been listed yet. And you're saying, you know what? I'm launching this. This home is coming on the market Wednesday. Friday, I have an open house. You're just in front of the home with a video, with your phone. Post that on the page as well to really start building anticipation, because it's going to take people seeing your event multiple times before they remember. We have busy lives. We have kids. We have soccer practice. We have doctor's appointments. We have so many things in life. We need to be reminded multiple times. Post pictures. Post a detailed description. Make it intriguing, not just 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bath house on a lake, great view. That's boring. Put some effort into it. Describe the house, the 80-20 rule. Highlight the 20% that is a sales point. Forget about the 80%. Post a video with your book offer. For all of you who show up at my open house, I'm going to give you a free copy of my book. This book is going to show you how you can sell your home for more money. Come see how I'm doing it for this home. Whatever it is, if you're representing buyers or sellers, use your book, share your post. When you post something on Facebook to your sphere, that's a call to action. Hey guys, share, comment, and like this video. That's the call to action. If they get that right at the end of the video and they like you just a little bit, they're going to probably hit share and post, and they're going to comment. Hey Joe, happy to see you're doing well. Whatever it is, the more traffic you get on a post, it'll help it go out there. Print advertising. This is another thing I see agents do at the last minute.
Joe, one more question about Facebook. Would you say that it's useful to make a Facebook event and have a post on your own Facebook business page that kind of links to whatever's on your business website? Or how would you say, to configure that? More than one post, an event plus a post?
So here's one thing to keep in mind with Facebook. It's better to, really with any advertising, it's better to create something once and then leverage it in different areas. So with that said, I would create the event, share the event on your business page, boost the event for 20, 30, 50 bucks to a demographic that you know, in the area, maybe there's a age preference. So you're creating this event and then you're going to boost it in all different ways. So I hope that answers your question. So you're not like creating an event, creating an ad. Use all this stuff once. All the stuff you create, you'll use more than once. And also, you like to do a Facebook Live during the start of the event. Yes, that's what I was saying. As soon as you get to the open house, Mark, grab your phone. Hey guys, I'm just loading up the wine. I have some cookies in the oven. Come see me at 123 Elm Street. I'm looking for you. I'll be waiting for you. Do a Facebook Live video, and as soon as you get there, post it on. You can post it on the event page. You can also post it on your business page as well, your personal page, and get people to share it. And in that Facebook Live, I would say the hours I'm going to be there. I'm going to be here 2 to 7. Come by and get a copy of my book. Get a free copy of my book. And then also in print advertising, yes, Michael, CTA is call to action. You always want to have a call to action in anything. A flyer, a brochure, you want to have a call to action because as someone's reading through a Facebook post, watching a Facebook video, looking at a postcard, they're in the groove and they're click, 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 click. When they get to that call to action, it says, okay, now I know what to do. But with print advertising, I would take all the descriptions that you're using on your event page, on your MLS posting, build it out into print marketing, whether you're going to invest in postcards, whether you're going to invest in more of a long forms sales letter, whatever you're going to use at an open house, you're going to use the same content that you're putting on Facebook as well. And yes, Mark, to answer your question, do you do a quick 90-second video or you do a long extended video? 90 seconds. Keep it short. If you show them the whole house, they'll say, I already saw it in Mark's video. Why do I need to show up?
Yeah, that's the difference between a regular video and a Facebook story, correct? So a story is a little bit shorter.
Yeah, so whatever platform you're doing it on Facebook, keep it short. 60 to 90 seconds, clear call to action, and be done. Because you want them to come face to face. But with print marketing, you're going to want to prepare your flyers. If you're going to do a postcard, if you're going to have someone mail it, that's going to have to be prepared a week or 2 weeks minimum before your open house. A brochure. You're going to have your book ready. That's part of your print marketing with your open house. So that's what I'm saying. Have a checklist, create a system so when an open house comes up, you're ready. Open houses do not go well if you're not ready. Show up an hour early, put on the music, throw some cookies in the oven, get that home feeling in the house, turn on the lights, open the shades. You gotta really put effort into an open house, and it's the small things that aren't gonna cost you much money. And then this is one thing that I did a lot. I actually just mailed out a letter to the neighborhood. I would take maybe 100 homes and mail out a letter. I loved personalized letters where they have to open up the envelope. It's from Joe Nicholson. It's not my brokerage name, and it's an invitation to come by the house. We're going to have, happy hour, whatever. Give them some intrigue about the house. I look forward to seeing you. Then when I would go knock on the doors around the house, they would say, oh yeah, we got your letter. I think we're going to come. Or if I was calling the neighborhood, a lot of the people I was calling got my letter. So letters are very personal. And then don't forget your book. You can use your book on any mail piece. It's a perfect call to action. Use your book, come by, get a free copy of my book, which is originally $19.99, and I'm giving it away free tomorrow at my open house. And now let's go through some ways you can advertise your home on the internet. Oh, we already went through these. Let's talk about email invite real quick. I think Zillow, realtor.com, pretty straightforward. Your website's going to be pretty straightforward depending on what you have. An email invite is great as well. But here's the trick with email invites. If it's systematic and it's not personalized, it goes into the spam folder so fast. What I would do is email invite, a letter if they were in the area around the house, and a phone call. I'd hit them all at once because I wanted to create buzz about the property. But personalize the email, that's real important. A video is great. You can use Boom Boom, or is it Bomb Bomb? You can just shoot a video and put it on YouTube or put it on Facebook, and then you can actually take a screenshot of that video, put it in your email, and attach the link to it. So when they click on the video, it's going to maybe shoot them to your Facebook event page directly to the video. Call to action button. Now, this is another thing you can do in your emails. You want to have a clear call to action, and this is not complicated. You can insert a button, a picture of a button that says, yes, I'm going. Hope to see you at my open house event. There's a button they can click in the email, which is, again, just a picture that you added into the email, and then you added a link to that picture as well. You can track your video. You can track your email. When they open the email, that's when I would call them up, or I would say, hey, I see you got my email. Just reminding you it's Saturday at 2 p.m. that I'm going to be at 123 Elm Street. Now, another way to advertise your open house is making a connection. Whether it's going to be more of a personal connection. Maybe it's not face-to-face, but that would be great. Making a personal connection to invite people. We have to remember, everyone else is not thinking, oh, open houses. They're thinking about everything else they have in life going on. We want to think about how we can stay in front of them. Door knock. Door knocks were great. I would door knock, and then they would say, oh yeah, we got your letter. They'd pull out my letter and say, yeah, we're thinking about coming. Now that I mailed the letter, now that I door knocked and said, okay, I will be waiting for you, they're going to show up. They're going to feel obligated to show up, much more than if I just sent them a letter and never talked to them. Phone calls are great. Follow up with a phone call. So not only are they seeing you online or in print form, they're hearing your voice and they're getting to know you a little bit more. Text reminders are great. If you're sitting in your open house and you're all ready, you got the cookies in the oven, you got the wine out, the drinks out, the lights are on, the music's playing, this open house is ready. And I'm sitting back and I have 20 minutes. What am I going to do? I'm going to text people, hey, just letting you know, I'm going to be here from 2 to 5. I would love to see you. I'd love to see you. And then I'm even going to text some of my friends as well for them to show up. Because the more buzz I can get going, the more people are going to show up. Now, if you've probably noticed it in lines, when people start forming a line, more people join. If people start showing up at your open house, neighbors are going to drive by and they're going to say, wow, okay, I got to find out what's going on there because I saw the last 5 open houses before this and there was no one there. Now I see 5 or 6 cars in the driveway and some on the street. You better believe I'm going to stop out of curiosity and start a conversation and maybe even give you my information as well. Fellow agents, reach out to fellow agents. If you have a sphere of agents around you, sometimes as agents, we're kind of like, oh, this is mine, this is yours. Bring some in, have them show up. Hey guys, you want to stop by and have some wine with me? and I'm going to show you how I'm doing this open house. Maybe you can help me with feedback. Then that way you have other people showing up, and maybe some of those agents will help you kind of share the load if a lot of people are showing up at once. Create a video. Videos are so important. Keep them short. Keep them to where people will actually see them. Here's the magic on a video. It's not rocket science. It's your voice. It's your gestures. It's your personality. So much more than just a print ad. Video really brings people in. Then when they see you, they hear your voice, they see your face, they're like, I know him. There's more trust, there's more likability, and I forget what was the organization that did the study, but it was just interesting. Even as we gotten busier, we have more noise thrown in our face, personal videos are what really concrete someone in our mind, and then when we meet them, we hear their voice again, we see their face, subconsciously, it's picking up in our mind where that last conversation left off in the video. You want to be everywhere. You want to be front and center. And in an open house, it's so critical because you could waste time, money, energy, and if it's your listing, have no one there, you're not making a good impression to your seller either. Do it right, prepare. It's a bunch of little things. You can't just do Facebook. You can't just do a video and put it in the closet. You have to do all these things. And if it's a checklist, if it's systematic, it's so much easier. So here's kind of the things that we've covered with advertising your open house. Internet, Facebook, Zillow, realtor.com, your website, email, print. You're going to print a flyer. Postcard, maybe a brochure. This brochure is going to go in the house. The flyer is going to the brochure is going to be more extensive, something that goes in the house. Flyer is what you're going to post at the coffee shops. A postcard maybe is what you're going to mail out. Your book. Your book is so important. You want your book as well as part of your print material. And then a letter. Maybe you don't do all of these at once. Do 2 or 3. See how it works, and then add to it as you go and do more open houses, and you see the return on investment you're getting. Make those connections through a door knock, phone call, text, fellow agents, create a video. These are the things that you must do to have a successful open house. And now I've talked to agents, and they say, Joe, it's too many moving parts. I can't do it. I'm going to just scrap open houses, and I'm going to cold call. And then they say, Joe, you know what? I made a mistake because the agent in my office just landed a buyer's agreement and another listing from an open house that was not even theirs. These open houses are where you can get quick traction, and you'll learn a lot just talking to people. Now, after you advertise an open house, you got to get people to show up. If no one shows up, it's it's really disappointing, and it's a lot of time and energy. So how do you get them to show up? Because once they see your open house, once they see you, once they see your video, you still have to get them to show up. It has to be convenient. I mean, on a weekend, my son says he wants to go snowboarding. My daughter wants to go somewhere. She has a sleepover going on. My wife's like, let's get out of the house and go do something. There's so much going on. If I can fit an open house into my busy schedule and stay reminded, I'm going to be way more likely to show up. So you want clear signage. I've seen many open houses where there's just a little sign on the corner, a little sign in the yard, and I had to just drive through the whole neighborhood to find it. And I'm thinking, nobody's going to find this thing. It's at it's 3 streets into a neighborhood. It's at a cul-de-sac, and there's one little sign, and there's a sign in the beginning of the neighborhood. And now if there's more than one open house in that neighborhood, the person on the first open house is going to get all the traffic. You're going to be sitting back at your open house with your wine, with your cookies, with the music on, everything. You could have it perfect, but no one's there. You don't want that. Clear signage. You want a reminder email. You want to remind them. Keep it polite, but you want to remind them without being annoying. A reminder call, a reminder text, and then intrigue. You don't want to tell them everything. What's the reason that you've emailed me a reminder, you've called me, you've texted me, all in a polite way? Why do I need to show up? what more are you going to tell me than what I saw on Facebook and saw on your website, saw on the MLS? Well, you have to have intrigue. Now, here's an idea for intrigue. You can, where did it go? We'll get to that. So, just a minute here. Okay, here it is. My slides were mixed up there. So with intrigue, use your book. Hey, this is my new book. At my open house, I'm going to be giving this out. This is going to help you sell your home for more money. Sometimes we forget. Home buyers, there's not just buyers who show up to open houses. The neighborhood is going to show up, and they're going to be interviewing you. Use your book for intrigue, a reason to show up. I can get a free book from Joe when I show up to his open house. Oh my gosh, he wrote a book. I want a copy of that. So use intrigue on all of your advertising, and the book is a great place to start. Clear signage. How can you have clear signage? Make it convenient. One of my friends did, it was in the downturn. In the downturn of the economy, he was auctioning houses in Gainesville, Florida. And he would have 100 bandit signs, and they would put them out. They'd sell a house on a weekend. That was intense, and the city did not like him. But here's some ways that you can have clear signage. With that said, he had so many people show up at his open house, and where a lot of open houses were just dead. But you can conveniently have clear signage with this. Here's a couple ideas. Have some arrow signs in your car that you're going to want to have for every turn. Open house banners. These open house banners are so cheap. $59, you can get these feather banners. What's nice about them?
Joe, we have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Connie Edwards would like to know, do you bring the books by hand or to hand out at the open house, or use it as a way to get their address and mail it to them later? What a great question.
Great question. What we've seen, the best results is giving it out at open house. Okay, so here's the thing. I don't want to give someone my book unless they're going to give me their information. So have it be part of your memorization script. Hey, I would like to give you a copy of my book, and then get your information so I can follow up with you to see how you're doing. You always want to have that exchange, and if you're handing out your book, they're going to feel obligated to, because you're handing it while you're talking. So yeah, I would have the books at the open house. Tell people to show up to the open house to get the book, and then maybe you do a shout out at the end with a video thanking everyone who showed up at your open house, and saying, those of you who could not make it, please send me your mailing address. I want to mail you a copy of my free book. So it would be a good, part of the sales funnel to get those that didn't show up. Yes, Mark, I have a couple of things to talk about as far as registering at an open house. But clear signing, you got to get them there, and they got to be able to find the place. I love these feather banners. They're cheap, they're inexpensive, and they'll fit in your car. Set them up in a couple minutes. Now, here's a couple ways to offer your book out at the open house. Some agents do it at the door, and they bring people in. Hey, I was talking to one agent out in Oregon, and he said, I asked them, if they're looking to buy or sell, and because I want to give you one of the books. I have a buyer or seller book, and then give them the correct book. You can do it at the door. One thing I would say, and Denise just went to an open house, I know, and she said the agent wasn't too warm and welcoming. The front door can be intimidating. Someone shows up at the door, and you're filling the door frame, and you're asking questions, and you're being really aggressive because you want a listing. You're going to shoot yourself in the foot. Step back, open the door, get them in the house, and get them to start walking through the house to ask warm and welcoming questions. So that's one thing I'll say at the front door. And another way you can do that, though, is you can walk them through the house and then put your books on the counter. Have your books set on the counter. They'll look down at the counter. They'll start to see them, and they'll think, wow, okay, you wrote a book. Sometimes that can be more inviting than just being like, hey, I'm an author and I got a book and here's the front door and are you looking to buy or sell? Okay, you're not. Well, then leave. That's the impression they get when we're really aggressive at the front door. Another thing you can do is put the book in a gift package. Maybe it's a package that you give them at the end, and you let them know at the door, hey, I have a special gift for you. When you're done looking at the house, come and see me. Because maybe you have 7 or 8 people, groups coming in the house at once. That way they know, hey, there's a special gift, and they work their way around to maybe back to the living room, and that's where you have the special gifts, maybe put in an envelope or something, and then you give it to them, and there's more intrigue, and they open it up in the car, and they see your book as well. You could do a sign writer. Some agents are doing a sign writer on the sign out front. Come inside and get a free copy of my book. Neighbors are coming in because they say, oh, it's different than an open house. A free book, who has a book? And that way it's getting them to show up because, again, all the neighbors, you want them to show up, eventually they're going to be selling as well. So here's a couple ways you can give out your book as well. You can set it on the counter and then have a sign out. Please take a free copy of my book, or I like this one better. Ask me how to get a copy of my book. Because this is going to make them ask me, and then I can have that even exchange of give and take and get their information. Because maybe I got a bogus information at the door. You never know. Build that rapport. I like this better than just setting the books out. Or maybe you set them out and you say, you can even put a price tag by it. $19.95, my book. Ask me how to get a free copy of it. So they see the value, hey, it's $19.95, but I can ask him, I can ask Joe how to get a free copy. How do I get a free copy of your book? And then you do the even exchange for their information.
Joe, we have a question.
Yes.
We have a viewer that would like she works frequently with condominiums and was wondering if you had advice on the best way to advertise a unit in a condo building.
You have all of those, neighbors. I think it's Katie, right? You have all those neighbors around you in all the other units. Talk about easy door knocking. It's like one door, another door, another door. And I always like to door knock after they got my letter, because then they're like, oh yeah, I know you. You're the agent. Again, wear a name tag. If I'm ever door knocking, even at an open house, I want to wear a name tag. 2 reasons. So they know who I am if I'm door knocking, professional, and they're going to forget my name when they're talking to me. I have an easy name, Joe. I can't count how many people says, what was your name again? When I had a name tag, I could see their eyes drop down to my chest here where my name tag was, and they would say, Joe, yes, we're looking to buy or sell. And by having those names that them remember my name and me repeat their name to them, I started building that conversation. So in a condo building, you have it really easy, Katie. I would mail them out. I would door knock. There's probably a place for your poster, your flyer to go. It's much more consolidated, and so it's easier to market.
Maybe put some advertisements over at the community mailbox. Usually condo buildings have like a group of mailboxes.
Yeah, definitely, Denise. That's a good idea. There's the gym, if they have a gym as well. So there's a lot of things there that you can do. Clear my doodle drawing there. Okay. Now let's talk about what I think Mark brought up, lead generation. Because if they show up, they're excited, they like the house, they ate the cookies, they drank the wine, and they're having a conversation, and they have your book. Maybe they're holding your book. You want to get their information. Now, I was talking to an agent in California, and he said someone ran away. A competing agent came in and grabbed his list, which I thought was really cool, of people who registered for his open house. So I'm going to share a way that you can prevent that as well. Let me get rid of this drawing here. Okay. So sign-up sheet. You can do the traditional sign-up sheet. Maybe have it by the door. Maybe have it in the kitchen. iPad. You can do an iPad. Post a sign. Please register before walking through the open house, my open house, ask them to register and explain why. Some agents will say, for security reasons, hey, home sellers asking everybody that comes here registers. So if you give them a reason, no matter what the reason is. Now, if it's a self-serving reason, yeah, I want you to register so I can blow up your inbox and call your phone and pressure you to buy a home. Yeah, that's not going to work. Security reason, hey, I'm asking everyone to register, for this open house before we take the tour, before you take the tour. That's kind of a security reason, and you're going to kind of take them off their defense. Now let's talk about the iPad, because iPad pricing has gone down. You can get an older iPad for really cheap. You can get the bigger iPad. This is the one that I use, and it's a big one, and I love it. You can use this. You don't have to pass it around. There's this stand that you can get on Amazon for $87. And you can put your open house flyers in there. You could put a sign at the top that says, please register. And there's a lot of applications. Your broker probably has one as well for people to register at an open house. I think maybe it was Mark that said something about an application to register for an open house. Yeah, if anyone on here has used an iPad to register, maybe chat the box and let us know what software or application you use. But with this, have it by the front door. It's really heavy, and they can register and grab a flyer. That way, you could manage a lot of traffic. Okay, Mark said it was Open House Pro. Open House Pro, and I'm guessing it's very reasonable. They're usually pretty cheap. And I was actually at the NAR convention in San Francisco last year, and I was talking to an agent, and he said he started this once another agent ran away with his list, and then the agent called the people on his list, and that's how he found out who took it. And so he said it was just really dirty. But he said once he got this stand and he put it by the front door, put a sign on it, said please register before touring the home, he got way better information. People felt it was private because once they registered, they hit register and their information went away. It wasn't for the people behind them to see. So you might collect more information, be more streamlined, look really professional. And you can also have an app on there that, I forget the name of the app, to where if someone takes the iPad, that it'll track it. And also, if you're doing the open house, security. I mean, there's some crazy people who can show up at an open house, and there's a button on there that you can push that'll notify maybe fellow agents, friends, family, where you're at and that you need help without making a big scene. So that's a way you can get people to register at an open house. Then the next step, we want to close the deal. And here's the thing. If you show up to an open house and you're like, I'm doing an open house, and you're not thinking about getting information and maybe signing a buyer's agreement there to represent a buyer, because if you're doing an open house for another agent, you're going to want to let them know that, hey, I'm not representing this seller. I'm looking for buyers to represent. Maybe you're looking for buyers. Have a contract with you so you're ready to close the deal. And so you're ready to, if they say, yeah, Joe, we'd love you to represent us. We like what you're doing here. I'm buying a property. Maybe you can get them to sign right there. Another thing, ask open-ended questions. When you're walking through the home, ask open-ended questions that are non-confrontational, because a lot of agents are asking, you're looking to buy or sell? Where are you looking? Real kind of direct, aggressive questions. When you're walking through the home with them, perfect time to ask questions, and you're building up to closing the deal. Offer solutions. Maybe they left their information, they left the open house, you follow up, and they say, you know what, Joe, we didn't like the purple cabinets in the bathroom, the 1970s kitchen. We don't want it. It's just not for us. So thank you for inviting us, but this is not for us. Offer solutions. Well, if I found you that same home with an updated kitchen and bath, would that be something that you're interested in? Now they just told me the one problem with the house. So maybe they said, we like the area, we like the size, we don't like the bathroom and kitchen. Offer solutions. If I had a home with that bathroom and kitchen remodeled, would you be interested? They're going to say yes, because they just told you the parameters that they're looking for. Offer solutions and continue the conversation by following up. Follow up after an open house. The idea is to get a deal, not to be too focused on the short term, that if I don't get an offer on this listing at an open house, or I don't get a buyer's agreement signed, I'm done. No, you're collecting leads. The gold lies in nurturing those leads, following up, and finding out what they want. I've talked to a lot of agents, and they say, Joe, I did an open house. I collected leads. Nobody wanted to buy the house. I didn't get any buyers. And then I asked them to go back through their leads to see and find out what happened to those people. And a good portion of them had bought or sold with another agent. They thought they were bad leads, but they listed with and sold with someone else. Follow up. You've got to nurture the leads you get from an open house. And here's the thing. How long? Until they die. Okay? And then once they die, you're listing an inherited home. That may sound brash. You've got to have the mindset that you're going to follow up over and over and over until they not just list or sell, because they're going to buy or sell again or know someone. So until they die, and then you want to list the house as an inherited. You got to keep that mindset, not to be brash about it, but you got to follow up consistently, be friendly, be yourself, and really nurture the deal, because once you get a deal, it's on to referrals. You want to get referrals as well, and keep that in mind. When you're doing an open house, hey, I'm going to get listings, I'm going to get leads, and I'm going to get a deal, and then I'm going to get referrals. Now, here's a great way to get referrals. And this is something that is so underutilized by top agents who are doing really well and leaving this low-lying fruit behind. And this works if you're a new agent, if you're a too busy agent. It's ludicrous to forget about this and not leverage it. You've got to get reviews. After they're closed the deal, in the closing room, I'm getting a review. I'm pulling out my phone. I'm asking them strategic questions for them to tell me about their struggles, not just Joe's a good person. There's a lot of good Joes out there. I want to build out a story with a review. How they felt before they met me. How they felt when they met me. Before we met you, Joe, we were frustrated. Agent listed my house. I never heard from him. Lost contact from him. We were ready to do a price reduction, but not with him. They're going to tell me their struggles. When we met you, we were skeptical, Joe. We thought you were just like every other agent until we got to know you. Then we saw something different, but yeah, we were still a little skeptical. But after you brought 3 offers in on our house, sold in 30 days, we were ecstatic. We told our friends, we told our family. That is a story, and that's a beautiful review, but it's not beautiful if it's sitting on your desk. The goal here is to get it out to the masses, the people who will read it and say, you know what, I relate with that story. Add it to your book. Now, here's how you're going to turn someone into really being an advocate for you. You're going to add it to your book. You're going to leave your books with clients. And so now they're part of your story once the review's added to your book. And you're going to create a video. So now when they're referring you, they see their face on your website, on your Facebook page. They're part of your brand. But let's talk about how you can add a review to a book and leave books with your clients. This is not rocket science again, but it's proven science. If someone becomes part of your story, this is what we call a brand advocate. Someone not who just likes you. Oh yeah, I like him. Did good. That's nada. To me, that's a bad review, because a lot of times there's a whole untold story that needs to be out there. But when there's a story added to your book, they're going to become what we call a brand advocate with your book. Whether you're in the divorce niche, whether you're in the FSBO niche, whatever it is, they're going to become an advocate for you my pictures in that book, my reviews in that book, my video is on Joe's Facebook page, I'm going to stay committed to the commitment I make. Psychology, we stay committed to the commitments we make, good or bad. It's just who we are. If you can get someone to be committed to you, committed in your book, they're going to pass out your book, committed online with a review, you're really going to take an open house and take it to the next level. What I like about this is something that you can repeat every time. It's going to get better. You're going to build up momentum, and you're going to have leads and listings just automatically coming in because you were willing to do the groundwork that many agents just aren't willing to do. So here's what we covered: 5 steps to a successful open house. Advertise your home, get prospects to show up. You got to get their information. Got to close the deal, otherwise it's not profitable. And the biggest area where agents fail is in referrals, and there's so much potential there. So with that said, that is my overall spill. I try to include some of the basic things for an open house, but mostly the things that I see agents dropping the ball on, or the things that some agents aren't doing or aren't doing well. So with that said, any questions?
We did have a question earlier. Somebody wanted to know what you recommend for as a program to send out postcards or flyers to people.
Depends on your budget. Now you can do the Every Door Direct with the U.S. Postal Service, and that's very reasonable. And you can send out postcards. You can actually do, I think it's the same price, it's just the printing is a little bit more. You can do a 13, I believe it's still a 13 by 9 postcard. Same price as the small one. And I was talking to a postman, and he said, we love the big postcards, the 13 by 9s. They're easier because what we do, when they're mailing out, they have a stack of them. So they're grabbing one and putting it on their whole route. If they can grab a big postcard, stack all the mail in it, and shove it in the mailbox, it's easier for the mailman. Now, I know there's been situations where the postal service, the mailman or mailwoman, have thrown these Every Door Directs into a dumpster. So I like the oversized one. It makes it easier for the delivery person, and it's more eye-catching, and it's the same price. It's just a little bit more in printing. That's a great way, but then again, the letters are so personal. If you can buy a stamp and mail out some letters, even to just 20 people in the neighborhood, that's going to be great as well.
Joe, somebody was asking about door hangers if you're doing the knocking on doors.
Yeah, if I'm going to knock on a door, and it's going to be really ineffective for me to walk away from that door and not leave something. A door hanger, or you could just have a flyer for the home. You slide it and pinch it in the door jamb. Any way you can make it personal. At one open house I did, I had a leftover 13 by 9 postcards, and I put those in the door, but I added a sticky note to them and said, I hope to see you there, Joe. And I just made it a little more personal. So if I'm leaving a door and they don't answer, you got to leave something there. So yes, door hangers would work well too. What else do we have here?
We have, I'm unsure how to pronounce her name. I don't think it's Katie, but who asked us earlier about the condo market. She is actually in Portugal, and open houses aren't really a thing. And she was asking if you have suggestions to make the unfamiliar seem more desirable.
Wow. I guess if everybody's not having an open house and I have one, I would want to try it just because it's different. If you can be different than everybody else, and you can call it different things. I've talked to some agents and they would say, happy hour. I'm having a happy hour open house. Come by, talk to the neighbors. So you can make it more of a social party. I don't know. You'd want to make sure that your sellers good with it, but I'd make it more of a social party. What I found personally, if it's more of a social party, people are more apt to talk. And when people are more apt to talk, you find out information, you ask questions. You're not manipulating, but you are in a way. You're trying to figure out what they want. If I meet someone and they can find out, they can ask me the right questions to find out what I want and help me to get it. I wish I could meet more people like that.
I would still think that videos would be really helpful, and video tours.
Oh yeah, video tours. Thing with video tours, you just don't want to do them too long. Keep them short. Give them some intrigue. 80-20 rule. Highlight the 20% that is the best about the house, and you don't need a shaky video of you walking down the hallway or the stairs. That's going to make someone fall out of their chair. You can there's a lot of apps where you can video one room. Hey, this is the kitchen, brand new kitchen. You can pause it, go record. Hey, this is the bathroom. You have a quick video and make it really easy. See, we have someone here from Toronto. Yeah, again, if open houses aren't a thing, Portugal, Toronto, try a social party. Do videos. Do call to action with your book. Reply to this video and get a free copy of my book. Let's see. What apps would you suggest for those forms or videos? I will send some out in the email. We had some people some agents who are using some good apps. So after this, when I send out the replay, I'm going to send out that as well for video.
A couple more questions. Somebody who came in late to the webinar is asking, how do we get the flyer to promote the book?
So you can create it. You can create it on your computer. We have some services that we're bringing out, which is going to be where you can design it and print it, and we'll ship it to you. But it's just be creative. Your book should be used on any advertising. Why? Because it's a perfect call to action. It's way less intimidating than, hey, let me sell your house. And it's way more valuable than a market analysis or a home value offer that every other agent is offering.
Another great question from Sally. Should you give books to those who are already working with another agent at an open house?
If someone's working with another agent and they take my book, maybe they're going to get rid of that agent, or they're going to, maybe they don't have an agreement. I'll let them take my book. And if I think it's going to be a well worth it.
I think I would think it would create bad blood if you denied them the book because they were working with another agent. That wouldn't leave a good taste in their mouth. And you never know when you're dealing with potential future business.
Definitely. And Denise, that kind of goes back to the open house you just visited. What was your experience when you walked in that open house?
Well, I was just curious because I'm new to Jacksonville and it was a beautiful historic home. And I walked in, and when the woman found out that I wasn't looking to purchase a home right away, I could tell that she was visibly frustrated, which made me feel like I should leave more, quicker than I really wanted to leave.
And here's the thing. How many times do we walk into department stores and they say, hey, what can we help you find? We say, nothing, just looking. You're going to get people in an open house who are going to say, oh, we're just looking. We're not interested in buying. Maybe they're interested in selling. If you're going to turn them off by being brash, by being rude, by saying, I know you can't have my book working with another agent. No, you want to be outgoing, warm, and welcoming, because many open houses are just like what Denise experienced. They're intense. They're give me your lead, give me your information if you're looking to buy or selling or sell. And they're intrusive. You got to be warm. You got to be welcoming. If you're that hard closer that's just going to beat people over the head, open houses maybe aren't for you.
We have a comment. They may be nosy neighbors who might want to sell in a couple of years, so you can't afford to irk the neighbors either. That's a great point from Mark.
Great point. And it's one thing I found with open houses, the agents who start doing them, they say, Joe, not only am I getting 20 listings, extra listings a year from my open houses, I'm growing my sphere. I'm learning things that I never thought I would need to learn, like how to be warm and welcoming. Because most of the time, as agents, we can spend behind our desk, cold calling, running through scripts, negotiating. Then there's a whole other side. I need to be warm, I need to be welcoming, and I need to make people feel comfortable. And open houses are a great place to really exercise those muscles, and so you can be in tune with what people want, and it'll generate a lot more business.
We have a question from Daniel. Should we also promote our business card book along with the buyer book in case you have a potential seller seeing how you operate at the open house?
Yeah, I mean, if they take my book and they say, you know what, Joe, let's see here, we're not looking at buying. This is a great book. And I'm going to say, you know what, I have a book on selling. But I don't have, or my business card book. So I'm going to have both of them. And a lot of times you can find out what prospects are thinking by saying, you know what, I'm going to give you a book. Okay, which one? The buyer, are you looking for buying or selling? And then they're going to grab the book that they're thinking about. Ding, ding, ding. There you have it. So where are you thinking about buying? When are you thinking about selling? So that's a great way to really find out what they want, what they're looking for. At the same time, you're giving them something and you're offering value right out of the gate. What else do we have, Denise? We have all of our questions.
We've answered our questions for the moment.
Okay, so looks like we answered the questions. Remember, every week we're going to be here on Tuesday. Also, I'm going to send this out as a recording. I'm going to include some of the things we talked about, maybe the slides if you need to review them. A couple questions on what software to use on video. We're going to keep the conversation going and send that out to you as well. So thank you everyone for showing up. I look forward to hearing how your open houses are going. And when you experience something at an open house, we hope you'll come back and share it. I think we're better off together collaborating than we are just trying to figure this out on our own. So thanks everyone for showing up. Thank you, Denise, for managing those. You just mastered that chat box so well. You look really professional there at the desk.
Thank you. I appreciate that. This was a good session.
And we're going to get better.
A lot of great questions to answer.
Well, thank you everyone for showing up, and we will see you on the next event. Talk soon.